All that will be coming up in the news, including business and sports. But I want to start with that particular story, where if you thought that the story of a man, opening or running an illegal police post at Keses, that is in Uasin Gishu County, was bizarre. Well, think again. In Kakamega County, 6 individuals, that's including 1 woman, have been operating a fake police station, arresting residents and imposing fines on their victims, even as they feed them. But what's even more shocking is that both male and female inmates were sharing the same cells.
Where?
It is in this dilapidated house in Makaburini Estate in Kakamega Town that 6 police impersonators, including 1 woman, have been running an illegal police station.
Hao vijana ni hatari sana, na yoyote ambaye angelitoa ile ripoti kuleta katika police station ama kuleta kwa assistant chief wangelimuua.
Kufika huko nikapata kuna wenzangu huko wanachapwa, pia mimi nikaingizwa huko na nikalala huko siku 3 kana nachapwa.
The victims, both men and women, were forced to share a single room to eat, sleep, and, believe it or not, use this bucket to relieve themselves.
Kama imekukaza tu unaingia tu ndani hiyo. Sasa hutaki kujua hata mwanaume kama ako hapa ama mwanamke. Sasa utafanya aje?
But that's not all. The suspects reportedly arresting local residents, holding them for a short period and demanding 300 shillings for their release. Those unable to pay, like this woman, were subjected to physical abuse.
Wakaanza kunipika wakaniang'anya vitu, simu, pesa, simu moja nikapata, ingine sijapata.
The situation came to light thanks to Isaac Ayumba, the deputy chief of the area, who confirmed that many residents had fallen victim to this operation.
Nilikuja tukashikana na wenzetu nyumba 10, assistant chief, tukaenda tukafanya operation area hiyo. Tukapata ni ukweli, kuna watu wengi wamepigwa na kuwekwa katika seli yao ya bandia hiyo.
The suspects are now in police custody as investigations continue into what appears to be a significant security lapse in the area. Well, and Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja has condemned the operation of an illegal police station in Keses, Uasin Gishu County. Speaking in Mombasa at the opening of the newly built Baraki police station, which was funded by the Mvita NG-CDF, he said that a due process was not followed in establishing Keses police station. He said that they are looking into the matter to see how best to handle it.
Residents of Mvita sub-county in Mombasa are celebrating the provision of security services closer to them with the opening of Mbaraki police station by the Inspector General of Police, Douglas Kanja. But attention shifted to the recent revelation of an illegal police post being operated by a civilian in Keses, Uasin Gishu County.
Ya kwanza mimi niseme hiyo ni makosa. Maana kuna taratibu ile inafuatwa. Wananchi wa hapa, for example, wakitaka station, kuna utaratibu ambao inafuatwa. Kuna kitu inaitwa public participation pamoja na leadership ya area fulani. Wao wenyewe wanaona kweli hapa tunahitaji kituo cha polisi ndio tuweze kuongeza usalama.
Kanja commended the effort by Mvita member of National Assembly Mohamed Machele in building Baraki police station and stressed the need for community policing to enhance security.
Usalama is a shared responsibility. Kwa jeshi la polisi na wananchi wakifanya kazi pamoja, kunakuwa na usalama ya kutosha. Kwa hivyo nasidi kuwauliza tuendelee kufanya namna hiyo na mambo itakuwa iko sawa.
Decent shelter for police officers was also raised with the IG, promising to address it with the Housing and Planning Principal Secretary.
Space kwa station ziko nyumba kama 20, officers wako 50, wako 100. Tunaweza kuzungumza na Ministry of Housing tukawajengea nyumba zikaenda juu.
Hapa sasa mimi nikitoka hapa leo nikirudi Nairobi jioni wa leo kabla sijarara lazima nimtafute place wetu wa housing.
While commending police officers across the country for their commitment in maintaining law and order, the IG also urged them to uphold integrity in executing their mandate.
IG yetu, security yetu ni mzuri. Imekaa vizuri. Na mimi nataka kuwashukuru sana maafisa wetu ya polisi yote kwa upande yote ile wako kwa Kenya hii yote nzima, na washukuru sana.
Slogan yenu inasema utumishi kwa wote, tudumikieni kwa roho safi. Lakini wengine wakija huku pwani wanajua wanakuja kuvuna. Mama Kiswahili hawezi kubali mtoto wake alale njani. So sisi tunaomba polisi watakao kuja hapa ama ndugu zetu wanaofanya kazi hapa kuweni na ubinadamu.
From Mombasa County, I am Anburu.
And a shocking case of child abuse has left a 2.5-year-old boy fighting for recovery at the Homa Bay Referral Hospital. Authorities say the toddler was allegedly attacked by his father following a domestic dispute between the child's teenage mother. As the young boy receives medical care, calls for justice grew louder, with rights activists condemning the act and demanding the protection of vulnerable children. Meanwhile, in a separate disturbing case, a 10-year-old girl remains hospitalized after an assault by her classmate.
He's just 2.5 years old, too young to understand why the one meant to protect him became the source of his deepest pain. The boy, now recovering at Homa Bay County Referral Hospital, bears the scars of an attack allegedly carried out by his father.
Baba yake ndio anafanyia, utapata kama hii kuna mtoto na pata mtoto alipigwa mbaya. Sasa mimi nakimbia paka kwa polisi.
Authorities say the brutal assault followed a domestic dispute between the father and the child's mother, a high school student. Neighbors, hearing the boy's cries, rushed in, but the damage was already done.
Polisi ona mtoto akiambia peleka mtoto Malindi hospitali. Sasa nataka kuanza siku hiyo nafuata paka saa hii paka Kajo Children chief.
Now under the care of medical staff, the toddler remains stable but under close observation.
We examined that child. The state is not, as at now, is not that badly off. Is manageable state, but the boy has several septic wounds on the back. It's not clear whether it was because of a stroke or whatever he was doing, but it was a serious assault case to the child. Currently, the child is in the hands of the surgeons there. Is being attended to and currently on medication. We hope the child will recover well. Children's rights activists and local leaders have condemned the attack, calling for swift justice and urging communities to break the silence on child abuse. Meanwhile, another young victim lies in a hospital bed, a 10-year-old girl paralyzed after an attack by her classmates. Her crime, listing noisemakers in class. But that small act of discipline led to a violent retaliation. Beaten so severely, she now cannot move her lower limbs.
So when we received this child, she was actually paralyzed, both sides, both lower limbs she couldn't walk, that is, and she's currently still bedridden, but right now she's showing some improvements in the ward.
2 young lives forever changed by violence, one within the home, the other within the school.
And President William Ruto says he will lead in building bridges amongst all political formations, regions and communities to foster unity of the country. He defended the UDA-ODM pact, saying it was not meant to benefit individuals, but rather assist in tackling challenges bedeviling the country. He toured Dagoretti South, Dagoretti North and Westlands, that is in the capital city, Nairobi, where he launched and commissioned various projects, including classrooms and a digital innovation hub. Give us a minor with the report.
On day 3 of his Nairobi County tour, President Ruto made his first stop in Dagoretti South constituency. Here he launched the construction of an open digital innovation hub and classrooms, among others.
In the next 4 months, mimi naleta kompyuta 200 hapa, vijana hawa wajipange na ajira ya digital jobs. Hapa pia tunaleta waalimu wa kuwafundisha hawa vijana. Na mimi nataka niwahakikishie, kama ni kazi majuu, kama ni kazi mitandaoni, kama ni kazi katika ile kazi yote tunafanya ya affordable housing na zile zingine zote, Huko ndio tutapanga ajira ya vijana.
Before heading to Dagoretti North, where he commissioned a chief camp among other projects. In Westlands, the president inspected the Kangemi Bridge under construction, the president using the tour to call for the closing of ranks amongst political rivals.
Na ni jukumu langu kama kiongozi wa taifa niunganishe Wakenya wote na viongozi wote ili sisi zote tuungane, tufanye kazi kwa pamoja, tuondoe ukabila, tuondoe mambo ya dini, tuondoe ubaguzi, tuondoe chuki, ndio Kenya isimame, tuende mbele pamoja.
Tungetaka nchi yetu tuwe na uzalendo na tuwe na umoja, na sasa hivi ni wakati wa kujenga taifa letu na mshikamano wa jamii zote za Jamhuri ya Kenya.
Sisi tunajua kuna mengine mnazungumuza mungependa serikali itekeleze. Mheshimiwa Rais atachunga hiyo maneno, kama ni SHA itaundwa mpaka iwe ya kufaidi wa Kenya.
Defending his agreement with Raila Odinga, he said the UDA-ODM pact will enhance political stability and promote development.
Niliongea na baba, nikamwambia tuunganishe Kenya, tuunganishe Wakenya wote, na mimi nawahakikishia hakuna jamii, hakuna dini, hakuna sehemu ambayo itatengwa. Sisi wote tutatembea kwa pamoja because we are one people with a common destiny.
The president also castigated the opposition leaders, saying some were inciting Kenyans for their own political gains. He was accompanied by Nairobi lawmakers from both the UDA and ODM parties. The president's clarion call as he made third-day tour of the Nairobi County in Dagoretti South, Dagoretti North and Westlands was the unity of purpose amongst Kenyans, saying it will give the country a moment for development.
Thank you, Givers and Minor, for that report. Now, the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers has called off its strike following negotiations with the Ministry of Health. The clinicians went on strike on the 18th of February 2025, demanding the implementation of the 2024 Return to Work formula, the posting of interns, and the absorption of universal health coverage clinicians and permanent and pensionable terms. Speaking during the signing of a return to work agreement at the Ministry of Health, Cabinet Secretary for Health, that is Deborah Barasa, acknowledged the government's commitment to addressing key concerns raised by the clinical officers.
And I appreciate the Ministry and the Council of Governors because they have given their commitment to fast-track the completion of the CBA, and also that now we can jointly be able to ensure that by the time the contracts for the UHC come to an end, they will be absorbed as had been agreed upon.
Having agreed and executed this agreement, the union has made decision to call off the strike, and our members are advised to resume duty immediately and not later than the next 24 hours.
At the council, we are willing to negotiate, to talk, to put ourselves in your shoes within the reality of our state of the economy.
What we have signed to is something that should have been done a long time ago. Maybe there was, government and bureaucracy. We should avoid so much of that.
The government remains committed to addressing the key concerns raised by our clinical officers while ensuring that the healthcare needs of all Kenyans are met without disruption.
Still on matters health, Kenya requires 30.9 billion shillings annually to bridge the funding gap on various health programs following the stop to work order by the United States government. The HIV program alone requires 5.24 billion shillings in the 2024-2025 financial year to cater for commodities as well as maintain the over 11,000 frontline health workers to ensure continuity of services.
The implications of the stop work order by the United States government continues to be felt in Kenya, especially in HIV response, with 41,547 staff affected. Out of this number, 11,059 are frontline health workers who now require 3.9 billion shillings for maintenance in the current financial year. Another 1.2 billion shillings is required for distribution of HIV commodities in the current financial year. According to stakeholders in the health sector and governors who convened in Nairobi to chart the way forward, Kenya needs to scale up domestic financing and localize solutions for efficient service delivery to the over 1.4 million people living with HIV.
We have roads, we have other things, and we have health. We must say, what is it we are going to give priority?
Where is it that they can cut from, whether it's other sector health programs or whether it is in other programs like infrastructure, to bridge the gap so that we can say that we will be able to continue with providing drugs.
I am persuaded that this could be one of the best things that ever happened to us as a country. Because for how long were we expecting other countries, other taxpayers, to continue supporting very essential layer of health services?
We are engaging with other bilateral donors to anticipate and mitigate potential funding gaps. We have anticipated this shift. Following Kenya's reclassification from a low-income to a low-middle-income country, donors signaled an exit by 2030.
However, the session became heated, with the governors demanding to know why National Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi did not show up to provide answers on the proposed funding roadmap.
My role here will be to go back and advise my Cabinet Secretary on the discussions that have and the deliberations that have taken place.
Honestly, for the National Treasury not to turn up, even send a permanent secretary, or somebody who can, that's why I said, you know, you must be able to give us an answer. For you just to come here and tell us you are going to take note, honestly.
Treasury has sent somebody who has no brief, who has no instructions. We have come here, we have sat for 3 hours. We have left our counties, it's raining, we should be distributing fertilizer and seed. We are here and you are giving us stories about notes.
If you look at this table, there are more than 9 flags that were flying today coming to this meeting. Then you have seen the kind of response we have gotten. I think that is not going to be allowed.
According to data from the Council of Governors, Nairobi County has the highest number of staff supported by the U.S. government, which stands at 8,803, followed by Kisumu with 3,759, Homa Bay 3,282, Migori 3,268, Kiambu 2,982, and Siaya 2,490.
That story brings us to the end of the news this morning. Thank you so much for your time. My colleague Mike Megui will be up next with Youth and Governance.